Hello and welcome to this episode where we're going to explain the necromancer minion builds and how to do it and why it's so OP and pretty much login and play ability to you've already played the campaign many times. It's still fun, still OP. Now, there is a few things. One, we're running this. We just finished leveling it up for the Weaver's Will. It does give me some fizz damage and endurance threshold. That's about it. We're running this for the fire res. Pretty much that's it. The minion damage is good as well, but just run any belt, any relic. Do get your resistances up. I do preach that in all the walkthroughs I've done. This is purely damage reflected. The block I don't care about. If any other item went in this slot with damage reflected at that level, I would use it. This is for our low life. If you can get hold of this with a nemesis, I came across about 4 of these already, and the health is obviously handy when you don't have low life. When you have low life, it pretty much is like a superfluous stat. Now, why is low life pretty good? As you can see, the yellow line down here is our endurance. And if you see over here, when I go over here, I have 35% damage reduction, permanent, as long as it's 165 and below. Now, our max life is 666. For some reason, it just turned out that way. That's pretty cool. Our current life is 89, so we're obviously under it. We get a permanent damage reduction by being low health, plus we get all this ward, which is another added bonus of damage reduction. Our gear is not anything awesome. I'll just run through it all. We literally have just got stuff on. I think I went over that a little quick. Now, if we have a look at here, stats aren't anything special either. But we're going to take on these 2.5 bosses in here, and I'll show a passive and skill tree plan thing so you can follow that. And I'm going to try and just use my mouse buttons because I have Q and obviously I have left click, but I have Q on my mouse, which does the race. Only if I have to resummon skeletons, mages, or my golem will I touch it with this hand. See this hand up? Yep, still see it? Still see it? Yes. Okay. I'm going to attempt to fight 2.5 bosses with just my mouse hand, which is purely using 2 buttons. Now, this should be okay. The fact we're not resistant, capped and all that does end up being a little bit of a hazard. But, and so far, so good. Our guys aren't taking too much damage. And obviously we're fine. And still only one, and pretty much I'm pushing Q and left click whenever I got the mana to. And if I stand in the poison all day, obviously I get in trouble. Okay, what are we doing? We're down a rogue. Our golem is about half health. Okay, our rogues are down. They are taking the brunt of the force for us. As long as that golem stays up. Come on, take him out. Thank you. If we can keep our golem up, we should have this guy fairly easy. Hands away. That last bit, I didn't even bring anything back. This Archmage, no, I have to talk to this person. I'll hover over the guy in a second. Come on. This Archmage finished the fight for us. Our hands were literally off the mouse and keyboard. And we were like, yeah. I was panicking a little because I didn't want to die. That would be slightly embarrassing. But yeah. So, I gotta respawn all these, but I'll get a passive skill and the skill guide so you can follow. This is a typical minion build. Now, I just go off what I want and skills what I want, but generally, if you're unsure, you want to follow something like this, at least to get an idea of what you're looking for. If you want to know how to get through the chapters, I have done walkthroughs. But we have Summon Skeleton as a skill, and it's laid out like that. Bone Golem, laid out like that. Mine is over here, so it's slightly different. They've gone Pyro Golem, Skeletal Mage, Wraith, and then lastly the Abomination. Now, I don't recommend you use the Abomination until you finish the campaign, done some of the monoliths. Passive wise, this is in the base. You need 20 obviously to unlock the ability to put in masteries. That's the necromancer mastery that we are, and 6 into lich. So that's a general passive tree and skill tree. Mine looks like this, with 31 points so far, now 32 into here, but pretty much the base points are your minions are your life, your minions are your defense, your minions are your weapon. So if it doesn't cover either the minions' life, minions' armor, or general defense, or minions' ability to do damage, then you do not want to prioritize it. Obviously, if you can't stay alive, that's a problem. So you need to juggle the minions' defense and your defense, but generally you'll get a good solid defense just by picking up random gear and doing the passive points and picking up gear that gives you a bit of a head start. Now, you generally change to a low life build later, but since we got the stuff early because we have the nemesis this cycle, which hopefully they keep but change a little because it is a little too OP. I will admit that it does need tweaking, just so it's a little rarer or whatever, because getting legendary stuff pretty much makes you just want to try to get legendary stuff off the nemesis instead of off the actual boss mechanic. So, as we see, I'm running ahead, but this big guy has a threat level. It increases his size and his threat level, which then they go for him, not you, which keeps you alive. Up until you get that sort of stuff, you will be the main target. And in general, until you get to the point where you are a little more versed in the minions, the more minions, the better. You want more ability to tank the damage. And I'll go back to the end of time, just so we're out of all this. So, as you saw, the minions are very OP without any real gear, any real thing like that. One thing I was going to have a look at is like the necro. We could use that. We could use the health, doesn't matter. But yeah, as you can see, I've got two and I'm wearing one. Really shouldn't be wearing this one anyway. I assume I picked it for some reason. It was probably the first one I actually found. Right now, actually, I want this number. But yeah, this is pretty much all from the Nemesis stuff and 5 different characters. Because I have been doing a challenge where I have been trying to level a different class every time I complete an act. And yeah, pretty much this is 5 characters worth of stuff. And as you can see, I got nothing else. I've just been keeping what I believe I should keep. Or stuff I just want to keep. So yeah, there's no secret gear or anything. As you saw, there is ways to improve your survivability. But, quick rundown again. Minions life, defense, damage, and then your defense. That is pretty much how you play it. And the minions are the most important thing. You are not important. You are just there to guide and direct them. It's a different kind of play style, so you may have to get used to it. But in general, my opinion is you aren't there to be anything but a chaperone or a guide or a bit like a sheepdog. You're herding them towards the enemy. But it is one of the most OP style of playing in Last Epoch. There's other ways where you min-max everything and you're doing everything super sort of endgame and spreadsheet almost. But this does not take anything special. It is easy just to log in and play a necro minion build. So do to give it a try and let me know what you think. Hit all those buttons, and if you like to support the channel, hit super thanks under the video, and I'll catch you next time, and thank you for watching.